Howdo, and welcome back to the final part of GeoSketchr. If you've been watching part 2, you'll have seen me being a little bit thick, a little bit ignorant of the convention of naming churches and cathedrals in France. If you're interested in that, jump onto the previous part, watch that. I had the right idea, I was in the right country, in the right half of the country. Just didn't realise how wrong I was. Now we're back in this place. I've had this place previously. It might even have been on an episode of GeoSketchr. We drew this. Remember it. Other people might remember it. But right now, this flag. I remember this flag. Oh, I can't remember what country we were in. Oh, this is a nightmare. Pay more attention next time. Me. Right, we're going to have to draw something and try and think back. I feel like... Oh, this is bad memory. I feel like I ended up going down Montenegro way, or Albania. But we're going to pop it in Albania for now. I feel like we were somewhere on this sort of coastal region along this way. Might be completely wrong. That's the fun bit. Right, something to draw. Do we draw a person? Do we draw some people pushing a cart? Do we draw something else? Draw the shop. I don't know what to draw. We're going to draw this tower. Where we got space on a previous page. We're going to go sideways this way. And we're going to fill the height over this with this little tower. And so, off we go again. Yeah, I've definitely had this exact street view location in a previous episode. If you've watched that, and you can remember, you'll be shouting at me into your monitors, into your phones, whatever device you are watching upon, and calling me a fool for forgetting. But alas, I forgot. Maybe it'll come to me. Maybe it'll come back to me as I'm drawing this. The temptation is there to flick back in the sketchbook, but I'm not going to do that. I feel like I came down this way because I saw that map. I just can't for the life of me remember where I ended up getting. So we're going to try and get this kind of blocked in first. And then with the kind of part simplicity of what we've got going on here, we might be able to come back, get some colour in, some paint on this. I had someone left a comment asking me what brushes I've been using in these videos. These are self-hydrating watercolour brushes by Derwent. They are fantastic bits of kit if anyone's looking for a portable solution to taking water out and about with them while they're drawing. I'd highly recommend checking out. There are many different brands available. I find the Derwent are reasonable price, reasonable quality. I've been using them for years, and they perform well over and over again. We can see we've got a cool long curved ladder going down here, which will just pop in. Up here we've got big long windows. Where was this? It'll come back to me. Well, it will come back to me once the episode's finished. Once the guess has been made, and we can see where it is. Then it will definitely come back to me. But will it come back to me before then? We're gonna have to wait and see. If it is, it's got 3 minutes to pop into my mind. 3 minutes to add some colour, get some of this beautiful sky going, so we can see this here is actually a series of pillars. I thought it was a series of windows. It's actually a series of pillars coming down, so let's make them a little bit skinnier. And then we're going to grab fine liner. And we're going to start in some details. So we'll add in these like this. And then we'll add this in here. So for anyone that knows or has seen some previous sketches of mine, you'll know some fine liners are water soluble. These pilot fine liners that I use are brilliantly water soluble. I fell upon them years ago, just as a fine liner picked out at random in a store, and kind of for sketching and making little watercolors with. I haven't found even more expensive pens. These are pennies on the pound, I think. They were last time I bought them. It might be completely different now. But last time I purchased a box, they weren't overly expensive, and they give such a beautiful blend of colour once you introduce a bit of water. Really are gorgeous pens for this particular purpose. And we've got 1 minute 30 left, so we're going to quickly block in. These are arch tops, so we'll put an arch on top. Quite simple, and then we'll bring this arch around this way. Just a little scribble, little scribble, little scribble. And then using these pens, oh, I've not put. I always think, oh, I've got 8 minutes. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be a nice, relaxed drawing. But then you think, oh, I'll just make it a little bit complicated. I'll put a little bit of colour into it. So I'm just grabbing some colour off camera. And then we're going to start splashing this in. That's not very well pigmented. A bit more of that. There we go. So you can see that as we come across these lines, it kind of pulls out this beautiful dark blue, which is really nice just for throwing down tone, throwing down shade. So down this side here, we'll probably just shade it purely with the ink, and it kind of spreads itself a long way. But by adding a little bit of watercolour in, we've got 13 seconds left. You can kind of add a little bit of shading and colour, making it bright around one side, more pigmented on one side, show where the sun's hitting it, then a quick splash onto the roof, and we can see ended up with, even if I say so myself, quite a nice little sketch. We're just going to add a little bit of darkness into these windows. You see how that just sort of blends in. Your fine liners kind of disappear out often into the darkness. Put this down here. And where were we? I've not looked up yet on purpose. I've left you well and truly on bald spot cam. Dubrovnik. I think I did the same thing last time. I think I saw that flag, and for some reason I want to go further south on that coast. Bless. Oh, bought the print menu there. We were in Dubrovnik. Who knows if you want to carry on, see me get that round again, completely forget where I am. Subscribe below. You know where the button is, the big red button. Subscribe you to the channel. Every time I upload a video, you get a notification. It's beautiful. It's how this whole YouTube thing works. Anyway, I'll start pestering you about subscribing, and I'll start on our final drawing, our last 8-minute round. Somewhere famous. Oh, I wonder where we could be. I wonder possibly what city we could be in. Oh, well, that's no. Stop wasting time. We know exactly where we are. It's the Sydney Opera House. No question at all about it. So we'll come right down to Sydney. We're going to come down. It's going to show us surely fairly quickly where it is. It's not showing me quite as quickly as I'd want it. Is it in a different part of Sydney? It's near a big bridge. Fairly sure we need this bridge. Sydney Opera House. Aha. On the end of there. More round towards. We're about there. Anyway, let's draw the Sydney Opera House. It's there. It's staring us in the face. Right. So, lots of complicated shapes. Right. So this is coming this way, and then we've got this coming up, which is coming sort of up like that. And this is kind of a walkway that then is curving round. We've got a cool little spiky tent. Make sure I'm centered on the screen for you over here. We've got a little spiky tent down here. So we can sort of finalize all this once we get some fine liner. This is going to be one where the fine liner is going to feature. Maybe we go water soluble, maybe we don't. Who knows? But there we go. We've got our first little bit done there, and then this curves round. So we need to really emphasize that curve there, and we can see this curve, this kind of block curving around here and becoming this edge here that then comes in, and it comes flat a bit, and then we're coming round and back this way. And we've got a slanted bit down here. This is some kind of staircase or ramp going up and round. And then we've got to start adding in. We've got this sort of what looks like some kind of observation space, perhaps, which is leaning out and over this wall here. A few more spikes onto the top of that when we get round to it. And then we've got these massive sails that make the Opera House famous. So this first one comes down here. You can see we're just sort of roughing out these lines. Add a little wiggle to a line. It gives you that sort of sense of being a little bit straighter than it is. It can be useful when you're just very quickly throwing together something. So then we've got the next sail, which is coming out about the same height as this sail, coming around like this. It's that question here of how much detail do we go into? How long have we got left? And then a final big sail. Going up this way. Going down this way like this. I'm not particularly happy with how that last sail's coming out. But we've got 4 minutes and we want to get some colour on this. So we're going to have to go with that. And then we can sort of shore up our lines a little bit with some fine liner. Then it means we want to move that forward because that kind of ends after that. That wants to come forward a little bit. Right, okay, fine liner. We're going to start with the non-soluble. What that's going to do, it's going to allow us to get some lines that once we brush the water over, won't just fade away and disappear. We want some definition for sure on this iconic, famous place. So we're just going to get a very kind of scratchy, almost architectural feel to this. We just want to put in the bare minimum to make up our shapes, to make up our forms. That's going down this way. That's going back. That's going out. That's going around. That's going down. Not quite as much talking on this drawing. Hopefully, you'll forgive me. You'll understand why. Really trying to get this in. We've got 2 minutes 29 remaining to add some colour. This here is actually, by the look of it, some big windows coming right along here. We'll pop them in. And these here we do have fins coming down both, and perhaps they are also glazed. I'm not quite sure. I've never seen any images on the inside. I think maybe they light up. Maybe it's a way for light to get out rather than in. Who knows? And with that, we're going to start off with, we can see we've got a shadow coming right down this side of the building here, right down this side of the building here. The sun's hitting the front, so it's coming off this sail, making this dark. And we can quickly water that down. This side of the building here, we also have darkness. So you might be asking, why the hell has he scribbled all over his painting? Well, you're going to find out. This water-soluble fine liner, sort of teed up with a non-soluble, leads to the ability just to very quickly just squeeze a little bit more water out, a little squeeze, feed ourselves a little bit of water, trying to get too much water out, because too much water is going to go everywhere. Squeeze into the palette, and then we can just start diluting down. Oh, you can see that I squeezed a little bit too hard. That was a big splodge of wetness. Right, so we've got that, and then we're going to need to start thinking about adding. We've got this kind of turquoisey green here for these sections. Beautiful shades. And then the rest of it is kind of golden yellow. Ooh, that's a golden. There we go, touched upon it a bit better. So we can see that this will blend in nicely with our fine liner. We can kind of bring that colour down. This front window here is almost kind of a reddish in colour, so we're going to pop that in like that. You see what I mean? It's got this really beautiful red tinge to it. Coming down a little bit, this seems to be a little bit browner. And this front down here, it's kind of a yellowy brown kind of feel to it. So we're going to pop it in like that. And this bottom bit down here, we'll just put in a little bit of a hint of what's going on. And then we're going to try and quickly grab myself a really bright blue. Oh, this is going to be a very bright blue. And just try and add in the bright azure sky. Oh, my GeoSketchr just noticed that my timer up there has ran to 0. Normally that would equate in an automated guess. Perhaps we bugged out a little bit. We'll find out. But first, we'll just a few cheeky seconds. Just a beautiful sky. And there we go. That's what a sub 8-minute sketch of the Sydney Opera House does look like. Go ahead, guess. 23 yards. Another point dropped. Very close, but no cigar. So we can go through. We can show our high score for this round. Nope. GeoSketchr seems to have had a little hiccup, and the website's gone down. But thank you very much for joining us for another episode of GeoSketchr. As you can see, from Sydney Opera House, right around the world tonight. In this part, you've watched me forget where I was when I've been somewhere before on GeoSketchr, and then get a lovely drawing in of the Sydney Opera House. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think of the series in the comments below. Do you like it? You want me to continue? I'm going to be doing this for the entirety of 2021, whether you want me to continue or not. Gets me drawing, gets me practicing my video making skills. And hopefully some of you guys choose to pick up the challenge, pick up the mantle, and have a go at drawing something yourself. I'll see you next time for some more geosketching.